jump the fence into her yard.
Okay, we are recording now.
Okay.
Okay, call to order, roll call. Commissioner Goodman.
Here.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Pelton.
Here.
President Fosdick. Here. Are there any amendments to the agenda? None. Public comments on agenda-related items? Consent agenda. Approval of minutes. Regular meeting minutes of October 19th and bills and disbursements for October 23.
I make a motion we accept the minutes.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Old business, Ross Grant, Service Coordinator.
Yes, so I searched to see if we were a previous recipient of the service coordinator, Ross Grant, and from my finding, I cannot see that the Housing Commission was. And because we do not have 50 public housing units, we are not able to submit an application as the lead applicant. So what I found was we would have to join another housing commission so that we would get to the 50 unit count. And each housing commission would have to do 25% match in kind or monetary. The application is due December 18th. So we do have a little bit of time, but not a lot. So that's my finding.
Is there another housing commission that would be interested in this, you think?
Well, that you mentioned that, Karen. So,
How about Everett?
well, so our meeting is next Tuesday, and I'll bring that up. So if it's something that they're interested in and you're interested in, can we combine and do it?
Yep.
So now, they're going through the RAD conversion process too, so, but that doesn't matter because that's a 2-year process, so there's still going to be public housing. There's 109 public housing units.
We built 2 more?
Can't we find 3 units?
And they do have to be occupied, 50 occupied.
We can do that by December 18th, Lori.
So if we do go forth with this, I thought the in-kind could be a laptop, a cell phone service, things like that. So we may not, really have to do a monetary one. We could probably do enough in-kind to make our 25% match.
The DV units then, right?
It does not. And also, we can only apply for one coordinator for 1,000, up to 1,000 public housing units, you qualify for one coordinator. And then if you're above, I believe it's 1,000 to 2,500 would be 2 coordinators, and above that would be 3 coordinators. So between the 2 housing commissions, we could only apply for 1 coordinator.
The other thing, I didn't look at the credentials for the staffing person, but the issue of hiring somebody too is, if you're successful too, I don't know what the credentials are, what the educational requirements are.
Is this worth all your efforts, do you think?
If it's for you, it's ongoing, probably.
The programs themselves
Yeah.
are really beneficial.
Yeah.
Can we pull it off? I don't know.
I just, maybe start working towards next year or something?
Well, I don't know if, will it come out again next year? It may not come out again.
Oh,
I think it will though. I think it's been so.
just a pretty short timeline to have somebody write it and organize it and,
Well, if Everett's willing to join with us, I'm willing to put the time in.
oh.
At least
okay.
try.
And their meeting is when, did you say, Mark?
Next Tuesday. So I'll put that on the agenda there and we'll talk about it.
Now, Everett is not, NMCAA is not down in Everett, is it? Okay.
No, I think that's Osceola County, so I think Wexford County is just above Osceola County.
Okay. Because NMCAA has expressed an interest to help us with this grant and everything else.
But they cover Osceola County.
Do they?
Yeah, Mid-Michigan Community Action Agency?
No, this is Northern Michigan.
Oh.
Actually.
And NMs.
Oh, you're saying N, I thought you said, okay, well, right, ours is mid,
Yeah.
so they're still the same agency, just different regions.
Okay.
Well, it
Like
could be
say-
true.
Manistee and Everett are both cities, but they're just different.
They're different.
Right, so yeah, we just need to, so I believe what we'd need is a motion, if you guys are interested in pursuing this, because we will not have another meeting before the deadline of the application. So you would just need to give Steve the authority to give support on behalf of the commission if we get to the point where we're able to submit an application. And I would draw up a letter of support on behalf of the commission, and President Fosdick would sign it.
I'll make the motion that we give or agree to have our, my brain's mush.
The president.
When a chair of the board to sign a letter of agreement if that goes through with Everett. The other thought too, oh well,
I second it.
the other thought too is that if we get this and we can do this for the next year, we'll have time to be able to kind of look at other collaborations within the community. I have a couple thoughts of some other places. You know, even if we can afford a part-time person, somebody else can bring another half a position forward. So, but I think starting with it, getting to know what they want, no matter what, we'll have the person only half time. So then we can kind of look and see how it goes and do a measurement along the, you know, over the next year of what's reasonable, if we get this. If
Yeah,
not,
if we can make it work, I say let's throw our hat in the ring and see what happens.
go ahead. That's a
Okay,
very-
we have a motion on the floor and a second.
I seconded it.
Is it roll call or is it voice vote?
It's not a resolution,
Okay.
Steve, it can be voiced.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
So we're just gonna send Thanksgiving dinner to Lori's house?
Well, I think she lives in,
She lives over here
Right.
anyway.
My
okay,
guess is the application's not too complicated if we can, I mean, we've applied for the safety and security grant for 10 years in a row and never received it, so, you know, in Big Rapids.
that's because you thought it wasn't very complicated.
It isn't, but I think it's, most of these go to the larger housing authorities and agencies typically, but
Any other old business? New business, RFP RAD Consultants.
so this is my final draft. I wanted you guys to look at it to make sure it met what we wanted to do, what we're looking for.
I thought it was good.
It wasn't as lengthy as the,
No. No, and it won't be. I mean, I couldn't find anywhere where we sent out an RFP here for consultants. I looked and looked and looked in all the files, not to say it doesn't exist, but I couldn't find it. I did find one for the developer, which was like 80 pages or 60 pages or crazy. If we get to that point, it's not gonna be that either. It's gonna be, you know, maybe an 8-page document similar to that, to this. So, so if you approve this, we'll send it out in, I know when we did it in Everett, we only got 2 responses.
I don't even know where you would send it out to.
Well, I have a list,
Yeah.
Steve. So there's a few people out there doing it. But there's a lot of housing agencies going through this RAD conversion process, so they're busy and they're pricey. I think in Everett, we ended up with Baker Tilly. And I think their original, I think it was 20,000 or 25,000 to do the base analysis. Then we're gonna have to hire a company to do a capital needs assessment too that's got to be done that conforms with the RAD application. My sense is that's been done once, but that was so long ago, I don't know if it's even,
Before I got on the board, so maybe
The
5.
capital needs assessment, I assume it was done in 18.
probably at the time, it had to be done with the RAD application.
17, 18, maybe in there somewhere.
Yeah, because I know this EJP, we had a conversation with her, and her contract is coming up to the end, or the 5 years expired. So they've been at it for 5 years, this whole process.
Do we need a consultant here? Or can't we just hire a capital needs assessment company?
Well, I think this, Steve, this is to take us through the options. There's a whole bunch of different scenarios that we could go through from the RAD conversion. There's straight RAD conversion, what we did. There's Section 18 disposition. There's a whole bunch, and they all have different financial outcomes. Some are better than others, depending on the need of your property. So there's one scenario where if the replacement cost is 80 or 90%, then you would fall into this category, which I think we may fall into that category. So it's not just a straight RAD conversion project-based. We did a PBRA, project-based rental assistance. It may not end up that way on the scattered sites.
Okay.
So I think this is important, a good company that has some experience in the RAD process.
Now, I know there was a company that this COA hired to look at their, putting housing units there. They're out of Grand Rapids, TDI or something like that. Very expensive, but
Yeah.
I could probably get that name if you need to add it to your list. So, you're gonna send the RFQ out?
Yep, so if you approve it here today, it'll go out. Probably not this week. Maybe, probably next week.
Next week's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to go to it's going to be electronically sent to everybody.
Do we have to make a motion?
I would like, yeah.
I would, if we can't get it out this week, I think we delay it till the week after Thanksgiving so it doesn't get lost in all the spam mail.
This is already Thursday, so. I
Yeah.
would say-
Oh,
Say the first week of December. if you
Right.
put it out.
yep.
I think I put a date in here of what what's the date for response? Did I put a date in here?
I saw one.
The front page, it's January.
January 12th.
Yeah.
So that'll come in before our January meeting. So that'll give them plenty of time.
And it gives them a little over a month to decide whether they wanna.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So we make a motion to approve you sending out the RFP to the list of potential people to respond.
Second.
Second by Jim Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Holiday resident event.
So, Steve, when you were at our office, you talked about, you and Mark were talking about possibly having our meeting at Century Terrace and maybe change the time to, for instance, if we met December 21st at 10 a.m., then after the meeting, have a luncheon with the residents possibly, in place of the dinner we were going to have before.
Is this at both big buildings or just one?
So,
Century Terrace has got the bigger community room.
Okay.
yeah, so we'd invite 100% of the residents.
Wouldn't Harborview have the bigger community room?
No.
I can count seating.
What?
I can, they're similar,
It'd probably be pretty comparable.
yeah.
Ours is all, I mean, Harborview's is all open.
The nice thing about Harborview is it has a working kitchen, and Century Terrace does not, has not had for 5 years. So that is on my list of things to do. I believe the residents deserve to at least be able to fill their coffee pot in the kitchen.
We could take a stove out of Harbor View and put it over at Century Terrace at some point.
There are two
It has,
stoves.
that
Are-
bathroom has to be totally.
There's 3, I think, isn't there?
Three?
3 ranges? Or is that 3 for?
2.
There's 2, but the nice thing about Century Terrace is you have that sunroom. So you have, if you count that, and then you have a lot more seating. Otherwise, the 2 rooms are comparable.
And my question to the residents are, will they show? You know, I would love to do this for the residents, but if only 8 or 10 are gonna show, it's not worth doing.
Well, are we just talking about coffee and cookies or something like that? Just a nice.
Well, that's what you guys, right now, that's what we need to discuss. Because we talked about doing something for the residents at the holiday.
We need to do a full-blown dinner or something, I think, you know. Have them, we could call it a holiday meet and greet. They could meet us, cookies, coffee, I don't know. Too bad I don't have any residents here to ask their opinion. Oh, we do. You know, I think it'd just be, even if 10 show up, it's a nice thing to do.
You could
There's a
also,
lot of Christmas decorations over there. Do you have need help putting that stuff around?
In the newsletter, Connie
ask for help.
asked for,
Okay, good.
Connie and Gina are so good.
Okay.
They do a lot. You could also get, like, from Myers, get like their meat trays or cheese trays.
Yeah.
what time would we hold that at? Like,
Call them charcuterie boards or whatever.
yeah,
He doesn't get out of the country very
Char-
often.
I have a hard time saying, I've always had a hard time saying that word.
That's right.
Charcuterie?
Yeah.
you got it.
It's just meat and cheese.
So would you want to
Olive.
do the meeting, just keep it at 9 and then just do something
Like at 11.
afterwards at a 10:30 or 11?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You could have a Christmas theme.
Which building?
I would say the bigger area is gonna be
You
Century
figure out
Terrace.
which
the best building and
I like what you said about the kitchen, because then you got a place to have stuff and bring it out. But
But we definitely would have more room with the sunroom. We could set more tables up.
I know,
But if we're only talking like coffee, Kool-Aid and cookies, something like that, we don't need a kitchen.
Right, so Century Terrace would be better.
Okay.
It's got more room.
And there's more residents there too, so
Okay.
Oh, that's
maybe
true.
you'd get maybe a better turnout, maybe
Well,
not.
unless do you want us to do it at both places?
How you gonna do it at both places?
We do one at like 11 and we do one at 12.
I think anyone that wants to come from Harborview will walk over to Century
Well-
Terrace.
There's no,
I think the limited number that would come probably wouldn't be worth holding 2.
okay.
I'd like to get the 2 buildings to commingle into one unit. Instead of, in the past, it's always been Harborview is for the elite and Century Terrace is for everybody else. I'd like to get that to commingle more. That's why I'd be somewhat opposed to having 2 different meetings.
Now, there is a Thanksgiving dinner at Harborview Saturday, if any of the commissioners would like to stop in.
is it Saturday, the 16th, right?
Yeah. What?
Or the
It's in the
18th, the
or
18th, I mean.
It's in the newsletter.
Yeah, the 18th,
Now, I also
which means I gotta get my butt cooking.
got a Facebook message from Deb Kaiser. There's supposed to be a walk or a march or something on Saturday for
Cindy.
for Cindy.
Cindy Carrington. And
What does that mean?
you're gonna do a walk. You're gonna start at Century Terrace and Anniversary Memorial Walk.
Oh,
Sixth Avenue.
oh,
And
okay.
then Fifth Avenue and then.
Oh,
back to
okay.
Century Terrace. There's a walk. That's scheduled.
Okay.
Now, are those 2 events gonna clash with each other?
No,
No?
What time's the walk at?
I left my phone in my truck, right, I tell you.
So the Thanksgiving potluck at Century Terrace is November 23rd, and the Harborview Thanksgiving is November 18th at 4 p.m.
So Century Terrace is having theirs on Thanksgiving,
Yes.
Yeah, Century Terraces, yep.
and then the other one is,
And Harborview is 2 days, so I gotta get cooking.
What'd you find out?
Saturday, 1 p.m., that's when the walk starts.
okay, and Saturday is Harbor Views is at 4, so there shouldn't be any conflict.
But I do think that we need to work toward getting a functioning kitchen at some yeah.
Yeah.
And with the way our financials go, let's just find another $42,000 and we could probably do that.
How, well, we don't, none of us know how that was not done with all this other construction that was done.
Because they used it as their paint room.
Well, in my understanding, it's been out of service well before they took it over. So like, my understanding is that the room hasn't been used in 5 years. And it was nothing to do with the construction. I'm not sure why it wasn't included in the renovation. That would have been at the top of my list.
Yeah.
It is now.
That and the maintenance shop.
Do we need the duplicate appliances in Harbor View, or could we?
It's all piped and everything now.
Yeah.
I think they're gas stoves, aren't they,
I
Jimmy?
don't understand
Yeah,
why they
yeah.
have 2 gas stoves.
No, they're electric.
Oh, they are electric.
Yep, because they got that glass.
Can't we take them?
Right.
Are they redoing the?
That building was done first.
Computer room
and then
back up,
the
Lord?
cost cutting
They're
was
working
done.
on it still. It's
Second
not back up
building.
yet.
Sold us a Cadillac and delivered a Chevy.
Yeah, yeah.
Still upsets me.
So, just for clarification, so we'll keep the meeting at December 21st, 9 o'clock, at either Century Terrace or Harborview. We'll make that decision, and we'll do a
That'll be up to
resident,
management.
meet
and greet.
gathering,
Yeah.
open house, whatever you want to call it, right afterwards. Say 10:30 or 11, probably 11, from 11 to 12.
Will you have another newsletter going out before then, Lori?
Yeah.
Yes.
Be able to, like, can they kind of RSVP so we have kind of an idea? about-
Yeah. Yep.
I have, if anybody knows of anyone that needs a turkey, I have 2 extra turkeys that I can give to someone.
So there, Mark, you should be able to just
Do we make any arrangements with Dial-A-Ride for the residents to go down and watch the parade?
Not to my knowledge.
Because I know some of the senior homes do. I just didn't know if we did that for, like, I mean, I guess,
Just like that.
yeah, for Sleigh Bell Parade, they sit in the bus and watch.
When is the parade?
December 2nd?
Yep.
Saturday, December 2nd.
I mean, I think that a lot of the residents wouldn't otherwise be able to get down.
Yeah, is it 5 o'clock or what time does it start?
30 this year?
Or I can find out, and I could try and get the newsletter out
Yeah, I was just,
before that.
you want me to call Dial-A-Ride and see what it would involve?
I can.
Or-
They,
'Cause-
before, like, when we did the, is it Belmont? Is that where they all went? The hotel?
Oh, yeah.
They just billed us. Baymont, yeah, Baymont. So they just billed us, so it was no problem.
Yeah, because you probably have never been at the parade, so they park them in the intersections so that the people can look out the windows and see the parade, but not be out in the elements.
So they stay on the bus.
Stay on the bus.
Okay, yeah, I'll check into it.
So this is at 2 p.m.
No, it's not at 2 p.m. That's,
Because it has to be dark, right?
yeah, that's a spam one you got up there. There's a spam sleigh bell thing going out by somebody in India. Obviously has more time on their hands than we do.
You checked that right out, didn't you?
No, well, actually, we found it, and I sent it to the organizers, and they got on it right away and been trying to remove it. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's just a thought. If it's workable, there
No, it's a
might
good
be
thought.
some of the residents who would like it. Yes. Okay, thank you. You know, they might, maybe that some of them never got to see the parade. Or they could all hang out at Lisa's office and watch.
Believe it or not, we have a lot who do.
I bet
A
you do.
lot of older folks who do come in and watch it from the inside through the windows.
I bet they do, yeah. You got a great location. Okay,
I hate people do that.
so, okay, we're set for the 21st.
Can we do recording at either place?
I will set up a Teams meeting.
Okay.
So we for sure can record through Teams, but I will also continue, this ticket is still open with Next IT when I requested their assistance in helping me set up so that we could have our meetings at the Housing Commission.
Yeah, good.
So, and I guess, just to jump ahead a little bit, at the next meeting, we're gonna have a calendar of our meeting dates to adopt. So then we'll probably transition back over to Century Terrace or Harborview. We could alternate them every month if you want, but, instead of coming here, but we need to make that decision in December.
Okay, great.
Because I think you guys adopted a new meeting schedule somewhere during the middle of the year last year or after.
May.
In May.
Yeah, no, June. June is our annual meeting.
Yeah, so, but it was adopted, or it was stated that the meetings would be here. So we need to make sure we decide when we publish that schedule of meetings that we know, because I think it's going to be on the city website and.
Yeah,
Well, it would be a lot more convenient for tenants in the two big buildings to just walk down and attend if they want to.
and for staff.
And I think that as long as we can record, which is one of the requirements, I don't know that it matters. Because I think, weren't you guys having them at the college
We had
Begin-
some at the college, yeah.
because of the construction, right? Then they start moving around a little bit. But were they at Century Terrace before that? Do you remember?
I was always going to the college.
You were?
Yeah.
I think
here.
that years ago, they were, the previous, before you. I do know. If you look at the minutes, I think it shows they were at either Century Terrace or
Okay.
Harborview.
Is that your pleasure to have them back at the buildings? Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea. So
I would think so.
we'll draft that, meeting schedule, because we need to adopt it in December, so it's official for January, the next meeting. Okay.
Okay. So the holiday resident event, that's all handled, then,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Financial reports, of which there's none in the minutes.
They were sent to us.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll do our best to answer questions. If you have any, and they're not evident today, let us know, because I haven't had a chance to look.
Well, my biggest question is why there is no consumer's energy bill for the month of October for CTHV.
So the initial statement that came out had $7,500, and then Cindy sent out an email to the accountant stating that she coded it in the wrong area. So
The accountant did or Cindy did?
Cindy sent the accountant an email. So I was traveling, so that's why I sent out on Monday night, I sent out the agendas. And then Tuesday, when the financial statements came, Cindy sent them out, but then after she reviewed them, she realized that apparently Shay had recorded the electric service in the wrong budget item line. So Shay corrected it.
Well, I don't know why the couple corrections she made changed the bottom line as much as it did.
Right, that's a good question for Shay.
And which
So I can find
makes
that out
me
and get back with you.
suspect any financial report we're seeing from BDO until they finally start getting consistent
My question,
with our Wisconsin auditors. They're as consistent as can be, but BDO and CTHV seems every month have some new gyration of something.
And we are paying
my
lot
question,
for those
Steve, is
statements.
who did the budget for, do you remember, was there any discussion about a budget?
The budget was passed, I think, January when we first come on, Jim.
For CT, HV and CT, I don't see a budget anywhere. I think that,
That was for the 48 scatter
I don't
sites
think there's ever
because-
been a budget prepared for this,
Right.
so.
No, we did not.
Never saw anything from them.
No.
Until, and we saw their reports.
Yeah, we were told that CTHV wasn't our concern anymore.
Don't ask questions.
Right.
Oh, that's right. So, just so you know, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We're working on budgets right now. So you're gonna, one of the questions is, who's doing this budget? Is it the management company, Commonwealth, or is it Riverside? Who is?
Yeah, it wouldn't be the housing commission, it'd be Riverside.
Somebody.
Right.
But it's expected they could share that with us.
Well, I think it's Riverside's, because of the property manager, it's up to them to have a budget. Or up to us. as
Typically, the
Riverside.
management company would do it, Steve. You know, if you had like KMG, they would prepare the budget, send it to, I mean, Jenny would know this, Mishta would want a copy of it. They would want to approve the rents. But with this RAD process tied in with the tax
It's
credits,
confusing.
it's a little different. It's a little different.
But we are the management agent.
Yeah, we are. But technically, the project's not done yet. You know what I mean? It's not closed out, the whole
Okay.
process. The loan conversion hasn't happened. I was gonna talk about that in a little bit too. So, there's still construction, you can see at the bottom of this report, there's still construction interest on a construction loan being paid. And we've been talking to Commonwealth about that conversion to the permanent debt side and what that's gonna look like and who's holding the operating reserve, which bank.
I don't know that we want to convert to a permanent loan right now with the way interest rates are. We should drag this out a year or two.
I don't think that's our choice. I don't think that's our choice.
It would have been nice to have this come up a year ago.
On the, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but on the reports on the page, Limited Divided Housing Association, tenant rents, it's weird how it goes from 59,000 to 41 and then.
Yeah, I don't understand that. There's some accounting,
Oh, the ledgers were a mess. They were a complete disaster.
Okay.
So, and like I did a transfer, and all of a sudden the resident's account owed $1,500. This Yardy, it was in Yardy, and there's no explanation why. So yeah, so a lot of it were just adjustments that needed to be made. They were just, yeah, so we're still,
Still cleaning up.
yes.
Okay. And then on the, well, this is not really, it's kind of related though. Maybe you're going to talk about that on your report. The vacancies that came up since September. Is that like evictions or is that, what is?
So, one was an eviction. Well, they moved willingly, which luckily, because
Cost.
our attorney had to be a court-appointed attorney for the same person, so we would have had to have,
Another attorney.
yes. So that actually worked out good. He signed a statement and he turned his keys in with the agreement, so that worked out well. So one was. The other, during that whole final lease-up to meet the tax credit deadline, there was a couple that moved back to Louisiana. So they did, they were not there the whole year. So, and they did sign a year lease. So, you know, we are doing the market rate rent on that unit still until we fill it, charging it to the vacated resident. But we do have 8 approved applications ready to go. Carla has been amazing. So yeah, we do have 8 people right now. Once we get all the verifications in and get Rally to approve the tax credit move-in documents, we're good to go. So I know I keep saying that vacancy report's gonna look better, and it hasn't, but I promise you it will.
Don't say that anymore, because every time you do, it gets worse.
I know, but it will.
No,
I
but-
guarantee, I mean, the units are ready, we've got the applicants. It was just now that Carl is on board, we're actually able to make some progress now.
Okay.
So can you clarify for me, you said we started an eviction, but they signed off, so we didn't go through the eviction process? Is that 12th Street?
No, so this vacancy report that I was talking to is the 2 towers, CTHV. So, yeah, that was one that,
It's different.
that,
Okay.
right, so even though we gave them a 30-day notice to quit, they moved willingly.
Oh, that's good.
And that saved us a lot of court
Right.
costs too.
So these,
Just so we don't get off track here, we're supposed to be on financial reports. We don't have to have a motion to accept, right? Or do we?
We usually receive and
I
file.
just usually have you receive and file them and not approve them.
Right. Plus also they're concerning.
Yes.
I don't feel as if they're really dependable yet to even.
Right.
Well, and Shay did talk to me about a different format that she was willing to
Why not?
put together for us, but she did not do it. So I will definitely express our concerns to her and find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Do we, or should we get a hold of Commonwealth and say, this accounting firm is costing us an arm and a leg, and they're not consistent from month to month. We would like you or us or somebody to pick a new accounting firm. to
We can do
this.
that. We hired them, Steve.
Okay.
I don't think this was anything Commonwealth did. I think this was that transition from the old accountants in a, I don't want to say act of desperation, but kind of we found this company. So I think that's something,
I really think we should find a new accountant for CTHV.
I thought, well, wait a minute, where did we find the last new accountant?
that was for public housing, Jenny,
Okay.
just for public housing.
They don't do.
And they don't do this?
They don't do tax credit
Oh,
stuff.
tax credits, okay.
So the whole conversation that we'll be having with Commonwealth is when the project's closed out, then we wanted to bring KMG in. They potentially could do this, but they don't use Yardi yet. They're not familiar with that software. They use,
One site, a real,
on-site or?
one site, I think it's one site.
So there's a complication.
We also should be, because Yardi has been nothing but trouble since the day it was invented.
That's right. But the developer is insistent upon using it, Steve, and they
So-
have that controlling authority.
So what I'm hearing is that maybe kind of deal with this as we can
Yes.
until we finish this up, and then we will make a major
Yep,
change.
yep. The good news is we're getting financial reports.
Right?
That's the good news.
The good news, we're still in progress of making sure they're all accurate, because it's only as good as the data that they get. And some of that data wasn't inputted, I don't think, in the system.
And once HUD approves our OCAF back to February, that has not been approved yet. So we should receive about $40,000 a month clear back to February. So that will definitely make the financials look much better.
Sure.
Yeah, that's an operating cost
And every
adjustment.
month along with your,
Yeah.
I know, and I'm going to keep
Vacancy
saying it
report.
until it's approved, Steve. And actually, I need to be working on the new one, effective for February of 2024.
Okay, there are no presentations or discussion. So let's get into the report so that we can talk about this stuff in at the proper time. Operations manager, executive director.
Okay, Lori and I, we'll kind of tag team this, but the new tractor is here, so you know.
Now, with that new tractor, I'm assuming we're going to attempt to snow blow our drives or our parking lots, right?
The walks, mostly.
What about the parking lots?
We have plows for that.
On the trucks.
Yeah, on the trucks.
And the jerks, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna ask, I mean, you could do it with a snow thrower, but.
No, but the
you-
majority of it's gonna be done, the heavy lifting's gonna be done with the trucks.
Take a lot of
Okay.
manual
Yeah.
out.
And the smoking area will need to be cleared.
Yeah, so, so prior to December 21st, we need some committee meetings. So, we'll have to do at least one, and it may be 2 finance committee meetings and a personnel committee meeting to talk about any adjustments that we want to make that will affect the budget. So, probably in early December, if we can schedule it. We'll probably do it at our offices unless you want to meet somewhere else, but more to come
Okay.
on that one. So I saw emails coming back and forth just this week from this EJP, which is trying to close out our RAD completion certificate. They requested another extension because of the site work. It didn't all get done. So they have to come back and seal coat and stripe the one parking lot. So they can't certify that it's done.
Well, are they gonna be able to get that done before the snow flies?
No.
I didn't think so.
No.
Great, so we're stuck till
So we're
spring.
stuck. I don't think that's a big deal. This is the RAD side of it.
Okay.
That's,
It holds us out for cheaper interest rates, Karen.
yeah. It doesn't affect, it's only the HUD closeout portion of it. It doesn't affect our voucher payments or anything. But the site work, they finished a couple of weeks ago. They put that matting down in the straw, and the grass is growing. It sprouted, so I think that was Thompson.
Sure, yeah.
Yep.
They did a good job. And they went and they did some stuff that wasn't disturbed during that construction, like where we cut the trees down, they matted that, and so we stabilized that bank too. So I know Jim had some concerns about some regrowth of poison ivy, in the Harbor View retaining wall, but we'll get out when the spring comes. We'll get them back there to retreat that. So the only thing that I'm unsure of is the area between the kind of the gravel parking area. I see there's a pile of
It's gravel.
gravel. I thought we were gonna make a gravel parking lot, so I don't know if that's all done yet. So I think we need to ask Caleb that question. But for the most part, everything else is done. They did do some punch work stuff. They cleaned some glue off the flooring last week in Century Terrace. I don't know what else is left from the construction side other than that.
There's another inspection today at 1 o'clock.
With Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
So yeah, then we've talked about creating the bank accounts for the operating reserve. We're gonna have a conference call with Commonwealth, and we're gonna go through a whole bunch of issues and see where everything lies and where we're at. But one thing, interesting thing, when this EJP submitted for this RAD conversion, Lori, I don't know if you saw this in her, we have an open CHAP for the scattered sites that was done, which CHAP is the commitment for housing assistance payments for the RAD conversion process. So it's under Lake Winds. Does that make does anybody remember that? That was gonna be the
No.
name of the new project. So,
That might have been the one that he
That was
was
going
trying
on
to
north
get
end
through,
of town?
on the north end of town.
Yeah,
On Veteran
Yep.
Parkway.
Out in
So-
the industrial park area by Lake Michigan.
yeah, so she said we need to draft a letter saying that project is no longer in process, so we'll do that. But
Yep.
that was still open.
I
Oh,
think
so-
that's what it was.
That's what I think it was called, Lake
Yeah, I
Winds.
think it was from 21.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
So,
That's when Ginny was in the newspaper all the time.
so anyway, we didn't know that there was a open, so that was part of this RAD process that we apply, and we'll have to do it again if we do a new project, so. I think that's all that I,
So the pest control contract is up, and I'm actually considering going with another company that might be a little more aggressive. So I did meet with another company last week and was very impressed with his efforts. I just feel like we really need someone to get in there and get their hands a little dirtier to help with this issue that we're having. Currently, the technician that we have, if the resident's not completely ready, they won't do anything. So I have one person that's been 6 weeks, and every time we schedule them, they're not 100% ready, so they don't do anything. So I am negotiating the contract, so we may have a new pest control company next year.
At some point in time, though, if a resident, you've had 6 dates to do it, and he's not been ready, all 6 dates, I would
Well,
tell
there's
him,
a lease violation in progress, yes.
Right.
So, yeah, so we do that. So having Carla on board, that's the other thing, having Carla on board has been absolutely amazing, because she's able to do the lease violations. She's able to control the application process and meet with applications that we aren't able to approve, and it's just absolutely amazing having her on board. So I hope we can keep her as long as possible.
It's like I can't do it. And there's a couple and there's probably some other tenants that can't do physically what they're asking to be done.
Right, so we are actually, the letter that they were having issues, the technician himself even said, I don't know why they have some of that stuff in there, because we don't even expect them to do that anyway. So I am working on revising what they actually need to do. We do have, our maintenance staff is inspecting the day before the treatment to make sure the resident's ready, and then we have been reaching out to caregivers and agencies to help people get ready who aren't ready. So we're still, attacking it. I would definitely say it's continuing to improve. We are not where we need to be, but we are continuing to improve, and I'm still 100% confident we will. 9 months from now, the report I give you should be very, very impressive if we're able to stay on track with and aggressively treat the units that need treated.
I agree with what you said, because that person that I know had it in their recliner, and they wouldn't do anything, not even do the recliner, when the rest, not do the other stuff, but do that.
And the contract actually that I'm negotiating, we're talking about going through, continue with the canines, because a lot of people will not report to me that they have them. Right. So continue with the canines so that we can know for sure who has them. And then put the moats in every single unit, the monitors. So every apartment would have a monitor in it, and this new company is willing to, I tried to get Rose to get on board with me, $6.50 a monitor. I can get the same monitor for $4 from this company. So I just feel like, I don't know if they're just burnt out with us or what, but I'm definitely not getting the service that we're paying for anymore. So I'm, considering going.
Is this in both buildings, this?
No. Century Terrace.
Century Terrace.
Terrace, yeah.
And you have to pay how much when they come over to Harborview?
Yeah, it's per unit. And actually, the new contract, though, would be, currently we're paying, I believe it's it's just over $4,000 a month.
which is substantially less
Which,
than what it was.
a lot of that is, the canines are very expensive, and they do come monthly. That's strictly Century Terrace. But they are willing, it does say they only treat 5 units for roaches, but they will treat as many as we have. So, we are, they're trying, but just not as aggressive as as I would like to see them, so.
So you're
And then
happy
Harborview,
then-
if we have a unit at Harborview, it's, roaches are covered 5 units a month, but we don't have any there. But we do have a couple, units with bed bugs, and it's $325. And the new company would charge me $250.
That's a
And
big-
guarantees
that's a
more
big
follow-ups too. And he said, like, we're limited, like Harborview, they'll do a treatment and 2 follow-ups, and then you have to pay another $325 beyond that. The new company said they would continue to do follow-ups as long as needed. Unless it's a complete, like they're 100% sure they were not there anymore, and the person's bringing them from outside, then that's another story, but otherwise, so yeah, so I'll bring that new contract back to you.
So Steve, to answer your question, we've had some cases where people just absolutely refuse to prepare to do anything. So then it's a 30-day notice to quit. So then we have to say, there's no more chances. We have to control
Right.
the situation, and if you don't, then we go through the process, the legal process.
Otherwise, we're never gonna get rid of them.
That's right, that's the point.
Do we have them in the common areas or just in the apartments?
Mainly apartments. There's some roaches in the common areas by the garbage, but I did, since I spoke to the supervisor at Rose about those, the supervisor actually comes with the technician, so they upgraded our treatments.
Is the other company looking at Orkin?
No.
Okay, because I had really good luck with Orkin. Well, they all are.
Who's the new company?
You know, I should have brought his card with me. He's out of Interlaken. They do trees, pests. I have his email.
You have the exterior, well, correct?
Yeah, they do exterior treatments in May and September.
Well, I trust you'll figure out who's the best.
Yep. As long as you're happy, we're happy.
Yeah, that's definitely high on the priority list.
Yeah?
Because that's very important. So we will get there. There's a lot on the top of the priority list, but that is definitely one of them.
Someone brought up to me that there was a vacant apartment someone was moving into, and it had them in the apartment when they got there, and they didn't move in. And do we bring the dog into the apartments before a move-in to make sure there's no anything in the apartment?
No,
So is that story true, do you think?
I don't know anyone that was going to move in that didn't because of that.
Okay, they weren't delayed because of it.
Yeah,
No.
It doesn't seem like bed bugs would stay around if nobody lived there.
I mean, I'm just,
Well, you could put glue traps in empty apartments, and that would tell you if they're there or not.
Right, and the other thing with the roaches, they were not treating both sides of the unit that was detected, so I have them doing that now too.
Yeah, get your new exterminator.
yeah.
It's an ongoing.
Bed bugs especially, I put together a big process and stuff for our organization and use some of the materials that we have here. I've had to send those across to Tawas area because they're like, is anybody else dealing with this? It's out of control.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah, it's just not here. It's just not here. It's everywhere.
I mean, it's in hotels,
Yeah.
it's everywhere.
Yeah, once they're in, it's difficult.
He told me 9 months.
Good. That'd be nice.
Anything else?
No.
I have a question. You're not gonna wanna hear it. But let's talk about Roger. Is he out?
Do we want to do this in the public meeting?
Yeah, we want to bring up names.
Okay. Take my question back.
We can answer about ongoing situations.
Let me ask, on 12th Street, was there an eviction proceeding that occurred?
Yes.
And what was the date of that?
Yeah, so we were able to get a voluntary consent judgment. So we did get a judgment, which expired on November
First.
1st I think they went to the 2nd though, because of a date.
Well, it's supposed to be October 31st. They went to the 1st.
To the 1st, okay. One of those two. So now it's in the legal process. We went through the court system, so now it's in the hands of the service agencies, which is the police departments. Usually it's the sheriff department, which we get a writ of, it's called a writ of restitution. So it's the legal document that usually it's a 10-day process to go through. Usually when you get a judgment, in this case it was a voluntary judgment, so we didn't get that. We get an automatic writ on the 1st, which means that's the court order evicting you. So then the court has to serve that order. And typically it's a service officer, deputy that would go
Deputies
in.
do it.
We go in, they remove, we change the locks, and then we put the possessions out on the
So
street.
do you get 59 or 60 days from November 1st?
No.
So it's immediate?
It's immediate. So sometimes we'll work with whoever, you know.
If you need a couple extra days.
Yeah. I mean, to let the process go out, I can't get a moving van here until so-and-so. We don't want to put the stuff out on the street. Then it's our responsibility to take care of it at some point in time.
Can't talk right now.
You can't talk right now, Jim.
Yeah, wait,
We'll
Coming up.
we'll bring it up.
it's up number 9.
So the process is it's in the hands of the legal system right now.
So that's all you can do.
Okay, so we are waiting for the sheriff's department to,
I think it's the city police because it's in city police limit or
No.
less.
No, the sheriff does it.
Sheriff
But
does
we're
city
working
too?
closely.
Yeah.
The-
so I'm trying to get something coordinated here. So sheriff's department has not set a date or time that they're gonna walk out there and do this with you. They haven't
Well,
coordinated.
we are scheduling a date that works for everybody. So yes,
Okay.
we are talking on a daily basis.
Have you looped in mental health? Are you talking to them daily?
No, through, I've been dealing with Northwest Michigan Community, because they have options for other housing. So,
There's a team there. They're obviously working in the dark with no communication.
so they're not, to your knowledge, they're not helping?
They
Yeah,
are.
They are helping. Okay, good.
But nobody's talking to them. They are under the understanding. that
Well,
they've
that's
got
why we're
time.
prolonging this, because we have a lot of agencies coming forth to help make this transition go smoothly, so that it is smooth and not the opposite.
Well, locking or changing locks on Monday will cause everything to blow up.
Well, what happens before that is management or maintenance carries all the personal items to the curb and then changes locks under sheriff supervision.
Yeah.
There will be some issue because there is biohazard stuff all over that place. So I would say that the sheriff is not going to be very happy about having to package and deal with.
You never want it to get to that point,
That's what I'm
but
trying to talk about.
we might have to do something. Okay, let's move on to commissioner reports and comments.
Did we finish this, Karen? I don't think Karen's done.
Oh,
This is a discussion we have to have. I mean, it's like, it's biohazards in there. I'm not comfortable with my team dealing with it.
Yeah.
I definitely want to be comfortable with the sheriff's department dealing with it. I don't think housing wants to go in there, so
It is actually up to the Housing Commission staff to move the items, because we own the property.
you guys don't want to deal with that. I mean,
what biohazards are you talking about?
Blood.
Okay. And you're sure it's there?
I'm positive.
Okay.
So you,
Well, and depending on what the items are, so like, my understanding, there has been agencies helping remove the valuable items. So if there's nothing of value left in there, then we wouldn't remove the items.
Well, it's not whether you consider it valuable, it's whether the tenant,
Yeah.
because he could say, they wouldn't let me get this out.
It appears that by the looks of that place on the outside and all the items that he has, he's a hoarder. And it really does not work well to just take those items and remove them, not to a hoarder. That is a huge issue for a person like that. It is my understanding that there's at least 2 truckloads of stuff gone, and there's possibly 2 truckloads of stuff left.
What would be the normal procedure? I mean, we get someone like ServPro or someone to go in there with the, who can.
Yeah, we would get somebody experienced with, if there was a biohazard, that would have experience to go in there.
Yeah.
I was in the residence 8 years ago. Sitting there, talking with Roger while they were cleaning up the outside from all of the things that he had constructed outside. And I can assure you, hoarder would be a kind term. That things were stacked from the floor to the ceiling, and it was a maze to walk through the residence.
Yes, I have been in those type of homes before.
So
We'll ask them to proceed however you want
Let's
us
have a
to.
consultation maybe with the team that's trying to deal with this. And I'd like to, and I've requested that Rick Rowe from the Veteran Services be there as well.
Who's that?
Veteran Services in Manistee. He's
Rick
kinda-
Rowe.
Rick Rowe,
Okay.
but I think he can get in there and get his hands dirty. You had said he wasn't in the service.
he was in the service. He was separated for the he was separated on a non-medical, non-disability separation, and
General.
he failed to meet the standards.
But that's still, it's not honorable. I mean, it's still.
General.
It's a general discharge, okay. I was trying to find terms. I didn't know what to call it.
Yeah, we went through all that stuff before in claims that were being made versus what the documents revealed. He'd never been wounded, he's never been in combat, just one of those things, people
Don't make it.
embellish
Yeah.
things, or they come to think things over a period of time, but
All right. And
not the first intervention.
right. And the brother, that information and a phone number would be great to share too.
Yeah, we have a name, but not a number.
Oh,
And blood's an easy biohazard to get rid of. It's not like a chemical.
this is not easy.
Yeah, this is I mean,
It's
there's
a
a
lot
lot of
easier-
competing interest in this whole situation.
Chemical.
This has gone on way too long, years. It wasn't addressed, and now it's being addressed, and, sometimes it has to get to a critical situation.
It's impacted the entire neighborhood.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so,
You should have been asked
It
to
created-
leave a long time
yeah.
ago.
So,
A
we're,
very unfavorable environment for people that live across the street and down the street.
Next door to them.
And we've never been able to rent the adjacent unit.
right.
Well, our current staff inherited a mess. It's not on our current staff. I mean, they're trying their best, I believe, to.
So we went through the legal process, you all know that. So then that's when not that we don't stop working with people, but our legal issues stop the day that the judgment happens. Not legal, maybe that's not the right description, but we're out of, our hands are tied now because we went through the process, I don't know that we could even rescind.
No, I think it has to go forward. I'm just trying to get this to be done the best way without any kind of damage to the community around him and to him.
Yeah.
This is obviously a individual who has significant problems. Just trying to, I just don't know where he's gonna go.
Yeah.
And he's, unfortunately, he's somewhat of his own roadblock. He has been for years. I think you mentioned that. You guys tried to help him, and he roadblocked that. This is the very hard part of working with individuals who don't see what is happening to themselves.
Plus, we have, in our country, have limited places for them to go at
Well,
this
yeah,
point.
there's-
I mean, there's that.
This individual, I just don't know. And with the holidays coming up, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is he's gonna have to go to a hotel. And I don't know what his funding, I don't know what his income is or any of that. I don't know how he's paying for all these different storage units.
He probably hasn't yet.
And call the VA too, they'll help.
No, he's not, well, anyway.
Okay, anything
all right.
further?
We'll have some more conversations. Sure.
I'm thinking, we'll talk afterwards, but we could do a
Still
quick
help.
Teams meeting.
Thanks to Engler, we don't have any mental telephone.
Okay, commissioner reports. Karen, we'll start with you. Jim?
I'm good, thank you.
Ginny?
I know this is, so I happen to be working with some people who live on 6th Avenue. And maybe in the next newsletter, could we just put in there again a reminder that they cannot sit at private residences and smoke or hang out or anything. I witnessed quite a few of them, and I mean, I love what we've done, and I mean, in this person, these were bold. I mean, I don't think they know I'm a commissioner, but they, right, sitting right in front of the house,
In the yard?
in their yard.
Yep.
I thought that we had that pretty much under
Well-
control.
No, I've told her to, I've seen people on that,
Yeah.
out there.
If that's the quickest and easiest route, they will take it.
Yeah.
Instead of walking to somewhere.
But I mean, I would say the distance was equal.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean, but, and I know,
So you're talking about in front of Century Terrace?
yes. Like, in front of, no, in front of Harborview,
Harborview.
sorry, Harborview.
There's been comments that some people will refuse to use the smoking areas, so they're still gonna go off the site, but they still have to do it in a lawful, legally
Well, and
manner.
it's, I have clients there,
Yeah.
and some of them are older and alone, and it's kind of scary. You got people sitting on your front yard.
I would have them call Josh Glass.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, well, I'm gonna tell these guys first, but,
I guess I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was happening down there.
yeah, I was there. I've been there quite a few in the last couple of weeks, and.
We can put something
But
in the
somebody
newsletter.
in this Newsletter
Yeah.
saying, it has been observed, you
Yeah.
are sitting in people's yards smoking, and it's not cool.
Well, if I know who they are, I can send them individual letters too.
It also,
If I took a picture of them, I could send it to you.
it also may, I,
Or even if you describe them to me after the meeting.
Okay.
it may also be a good reminder that it could become a legal problem for them because they are on private property. So, not only should you not smoke somewhere else, but if you go on their property, it may be a legal issue.
It actually, I think, would have been shorter for them to go to the smoking
Yeah,
area.
it is. Clearly it is. I mean, it's right out the back door, right to the,
Yeah.
And there's an ashtray there and chairs there.
I know, I was, I didn't approach the people, I didn't, do anything about it. I just thought we'd talk about it here.
I mean, I've seen people down there walking down and
Oh, no,
smoking.
sat right in the front yard.
It's terrible.
yeah, there's gotta be some sort of loitering issue too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so.
Anything else?
Is that white car down in front of the greenhouse one of our former residents? Did we figure that out?
That's. it's been
Recently?
gone.
Oh, and then it's a different white car abandoned there. That's
That little Ford Fiesta or whatever it
no,
was.
I don't know what it is. It's, I'll have to look the next time.
Don't,
That did move.
Yeah,
Across from the entrance to the Harbor View.
let us know and we'll,
Harbor View, not Century Terrace. The other one was in front of Century
I don't-
Terrace.
Harborview?
Yeah,
Oh,
it went,
Is it a Yukon, like a white Yukon?
no, it's a white sedan of some sort. I'll look and see. It's just been there forever, and I asked the person who owns the home, is this your vehicle that's, and they, no. I'm like, well,
Does it have a flat tire?
I didn't look that.
There was one that I noticed on the city street that I assumed was the renter of that property across the street down a little ways. But to my knowledge, it's not one of our residents.
Okay. I just remembered a white car issue, and I didn't know.
well, now that they got alternate parking in town,
You
you
would
would think
think
that
it's-
the city would have,
yes.
would have had it towed.
Yeah, it's already started.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
is it November 15th? No,
First.
First on the streets?
Alternate parking, right?
I thought it was like the 11th.
We just got the notice in our
Bill?
water bill, not
Yeah,
over.
it's.
We have two
Mr. Taylor,
city council people here.
the one thing I've noticed, and I think it just looks horrible, is the leaves need to be cleaned up. It just makes it look messy.
Well, they're not even off all the trees.
Mark and I did talk about that on the way here today.
Daryl, where
I was surprised when I went down to my doctor's appointment. You get to Muskegon, and Grand Rapids, all the leaves are off the trees,
But they're not here.
and they're not here.
right?
No.
But yeah, we'll get them cleaned up.
You get 6, 7 miles in from Lake Michigan, they're all gone.
Hey,
Not here. Okay.
We did notice that in front of, at least in front of the entrance. And they need to,
yeah, there's just so many.
they just
look
blow right back
horrible.
into the front yard. We blow them out, but we haven't removed them yet.
Yep.
Well, doesn't the city come and take yours too?
If you get them to the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get them into the street.
Okay, the only thing I have is, I went and got my COVID shot here a couple days ago. And I was kind of joking around with the gal there, and I said, you know, I don't know if this works, but it makes me feel better. And she says, oh no, she says, it works. And she says, just for your information, you wouldn't believe the amount of COVID medications we're dispensing through our pharmacy. There's a lot of sick people in this
Yes.
county.
Yes. Very much.
So, if you haven't done it, either stay home or get it done.
Steve, COVID medication, you talking about Paxlovid?
Yes.
There's more cases now of COVID than there was during the initial outbreak.
Really?
Okay, received communications.
None?
We got that nice letter about how good you guys did in taking them to the Baymont or whatever. That was nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the very last item
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Vacancy report, have we gone over that or not? I know we've alluded
It's
to it.
attached.
Yeah, we went over it.
Yeah.
It'll look better next month.
Okay,
Well, and the other thing is, once we get KMG on board, because I have to have everything go through the rally consultants, and they tell me I have to wait at least 3 days for them to review an applicant. So like, with public housing, I get the person moved right in immediately. As soon as I have a vacancy in public housing and the unit's ready to go, it's filled. With the CTHV, with all the tax credit layer, we have to send everything in, and every box has to be checked, and every I has to be dotted, and every T crossed, and they just, if there's anything, they make us, redo it. So, I'm trying to get the documents perfected the first time we send them to the consultants. But it's my understanding we can't move forward with KMG until after this permanent financing is done, or what?
So I think that's a conversation we gotta have with Commonwealth.
Because I think once we get them on board, we can move faster too.
I also will tell you that KMG will do the same thing. If your eyes
That's
aren't all
fine,
dotted.
but, and I know they, in the past, have told us give them a few days. But with Rally, they're all over the country doing lease up and other stuff too. So we are not their top priority. And with
I-
KMG, we will have one person that will deal with, you know, so like with Raleigh, I'm glad they're still willing to continue to help us with our tax credit qualifications, but, so I appreciate having them on board still, but I know they have a lot on their plate, and I feel like once we get KMG on board, things will move faster.
Plus KMG is considerably cheaper for us than Raleigh. I would think that Commonwealth wouldn't have a problem at all.
Yeah, no, they won't. It's still part of this, the development budget process, so it's still being paid out of the development
Okay,
process. That's our understanding.
okay.
On the, so just because we're being recorded and for public information, we have contractors starting work on 10th Street.
Yes, they started.
Yes.
So we are still planning to, we are still on track to lease the first side of the duplex up on December 1st.
Oh, wow.
And the roof, Rusty started on the roof too.
So
Fantastic.
that's great. And then just, you know, we had that huge pile of waiting lists when you guys took over. Are we up to a current waiting list now?
So I believe there was like, so this is the project-based rental assistance, PBRA waiting list that I'm referring to. And the one bedrooms, I believe there were 14. And so pretty much, Carla has 8 applications that we've approved that she's trying to get moved in. And Valerie is processing more. So we do not have a long waiting list. So, yes, so I probably do need to start marketing
Yeah.
units.
So if
We
people
should.
ask us, we can say,
Yes.
get on the waiting
Get on the
list.
waiting list.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially for like the ones that are offline that we're working on.
Well, the ones that are offline, we're gonna leave the 4-bedroom offline. We talked about that. And then the one next to the 12th Street, that's probably gonna be another offline unit once it's vacant.
And until we know where we're
And the-
going with our RAD conversion, we might have to leave them offline for the next year. Just
Yes, so
that
the only
we
ones
have-
that will be back online would be the ones that are being currently renovated.
10th Street.
Right, and I already have a lease up ready for December 1st, so it'd be the other 2 bedrooms. So, and I do have a long 2-bedroom wait list already. So for public housing, we have a long wait list.
Okay, that's good.
But for the towers, we could use more 1-bedroom applications.
Okay.
So you can advertise now and just say,
Yes.
taking applications. All right.
Okay, good to know.
So like in Big Rapids, and we have a perpetual ad that's all, even though we're full, so we're in everybody's mind, you know, when they're looking for apartments, at least they may call, say, you have to get on the waiting list. You have to go through the process. Nobody can move in the day they call us. We have to go through a verification.
Yeah. Are they pre-screened when for the waiting list at all, so they know whether they'd even be qualified? If
Well, they weren't, but that's the process I'm trying to move towards, so that you're not sitting on the wait list for 6 months and then find out your application's denied based on your previous history. So, yes, right now, they're not, but we're working towards that.
Great, thank you.
But then we'll do all that work too, and then apartment will come up and they won't take it. But it's the process that we go through.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get-
Well, you know, like if you have 10 vacancies and you're waiting on one, you can call 10 people. And if someone says, no, you just keep calling, or
Yeah.
if you can't get a hold of them, you send a letter, says you've got 3 days to get a hold of us, you're done.
Right.
Or whatever. Okay. Newsletters, do you have anything you want to bring up on the newsletters, other than I can't believe that you can get those out every month?
Yeah, they're very nice. They're very nice.
That's wonderful.
So we did complete the inspections at the scattered sites, finally.
Yeah.
But I know ever since I started in May, I said I was gonna do it, so we finally made it in almost every unit. But there were 3 COVID units that I couldn't go in, so those are rescheduled for the 28th. So by the end of November, I will have been in every scattered site unit. And then I start the Century Terrace and Harbor View inspections, December 6th.
7th.
Well, anyone that doesn't want me to come on the 7th or the other 2 dates, I always give them an alternate date because I'm
okay.
coming in whether you're home or not. So if for some reason they're like, no, you cannot come that day. So December 6th is the alternate day that I'm willing to change your inspection to accommodate the
Now, the
resident.
scattered site inspections,
Yes.
have they all been pretty good repair?
You know, 70% of the units actually were pretty good. I did get a lot of work orders. So like when Mark came in today, there's boxes of maintenance supplies and Mark's like, what's all this? And I said, this is all for the scattered sites. So they're trying, I mean, we do have a lot of work orders.
Okay.
So the guys are ordering, a lot. You know, there's a lot of faucets, cabinets that are just falling apart. So we're at least trying to doctor up the cabinets the best we can, trying to get the units,
I know that we have a process for repairs and things to get done. And I kind of got embroiled in one of those situations with the previous group where it's like, I don't know if, where was the holdup? How come some of these places were so bad? Let's take cabinets. Why does somebody have to live with the front of their cabinet door broken for months and months and months?
So because of the RAD conversion, they thought the units were going to get demolished.
Oh.
So instead of putting money into them, they just let them go, but then it didn't happen. So now we're dealing with, and still if we are able to do the RAD conversion, we're at the point where we don't want to put thousands of dollars into the ones that are, you're not.
To make them usable. I mean,
Yes.
you don't need to have the.
Yes,
front
so
of the
that's
door
what
drawer
we're working on.
broken.
So I'm, working with the resident and I'm, asking them what are the top, things that, I do have a unit that the roof has leaked. She said it's leaked 3 to 5 years.
Yes, probably the same one I've been in and complaining about.
They shouldn't get to that point.
No.
Should not get to that point.
Yeah, so, and actually, I really feel like we might need to look at hiring another maintenance mechanic.
Can we do that with a union?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's just
well,
there-
we
there's a-
negotiate
there's-
down,
yeah.
but we can go back up.
yeah.
Right.
Well, there's some clauses in there, there's some temporary waivers, but if they're longer than so long,
89 days.
they have to join.
Well, we could even do a temp. There's an allowance for a temp, but it's like depending on what the
we'd have-
jobs are.
So yeah, so I did talk to Kevin about it, and we would like to, if you guys don't have a problem with it, I would like to start advertising for a maintenance mechanic.
Well, yeah, because now,
Maintenance mechanic?
Yeah, I believe in the contract, in the union contract, it's a mechanic, because you've got your crew leader, which is Kevin. You have a maintenance mechanic, which I believe is Al, and then there is another position, but I'd actually like to
Called
hire someone
technicians.
with some skill. We need some skill,
well, good luck with that one.
at least advertise. I mean, if we can't find it, I would at least like to put it out there.
Can we
Yeah.
work through, the work service, Northern Michigan Works? Is there can we check with them on stuff like that?
Michigan Works.
Yeah, Michigan Works, we can check to see if there's anybody, but it's like, it's gonna be very difficult about bringing them in on a union shop,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
It's just, we're looking at snow removal soon, which is gonna deplete the maintenance even more
We're down one person from
before.
before.
Because Robert retired.
So if our budget allows, I would say yes,
But
advertise.
we're working on the budget right
Yeah.
now.
We used
so
to have
that's-
Tony.
Yeah.
We had Tony before COVID. We had 3.
So if we,
Tony.
We have Al
And, yeah.
now.
if we have a meeting the 1st of December in personnel, we could kind of have all these answers, and then personnel can kind of help move you forward. I don't know if that would be okay.
Yeah, I tried hiring a janitor through Arch Staffing. They can't find anybody. For $15 an hour is what we would pay. It would cost us $21 an hour as a temp employee, and they can't find anybody that will work for us for $15 an hour to clean the common areas.
I would go through Michigan Works. Maybe they've, you know,
It's the same thing, nobody wants to work.
yeah, I don't think that's true. It's just that,
Able-bodied residents.
It is true.
Well, that's what we have right now,
People
a resident's doing it. So I doubled what she was getting, and I have her doing both buildings.
Oh, good. Good for now.
That helps them.
she listens.
All right. That's not, doesn't affect her rent.
Oh, well, we can't have it all.
Okay, if there's nothing more, we'll open the floor to public comments.
Jim Grabowski, 1235 Cornell Street. I want to tell you, Mark, they don't have an order. The judge agreed with the agreement, or the city has never gone back, or the police department never went back to get the other order signed to have them removed. Because I talked to the chief Tuesday night, and I asked him if he had that order, and he said, no, not yet. We're waiting to see if he can find a place, or the chief is trying to help him find a place outside of town. And I said, well, I want to see you get this order. Because the neighbors were all coming down while I was blowing leaves yesterday, all complaining about this. That is, so one of you gentlemen did go over to the house the other day and knocked on the door, and everybody thought he was gone because it was so quiet, and he came out and said, I'm hiding. So that's what his new thing is. He hasn't even gone out to look for a place. So that's where it stands. They're hoping maybe next week that they can convince him to be finding a place, because they don't want him walking the street causing problems. So
Well, and that's the problem.
that's the problem.
You know, we can evict him out of his apartment, but he's still gonna be in the city and he's gonna be sleeping on doorsteps.
He's caused the problem, not us.
I know.
So I just wanted you to know that.
Yeah, so the court,
But I'll check into
yeah, we'll
that.
check into that, because that,
Yeah. The chief, I just talked to the chief, and he said they didn't go back because they were waiting to see if he'll get out himself.
yeah.
The other thing I'll tell you, Jim, is if it has to go through the sheriff department, which I think it does, they do not like to do this and they will drag their feet.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's true. The sheriff's department, I've been in contact with the sheriff, and they know what's going on. They've been working very close with Chief Glass, so the sheriff will.
Yeah, they're gonna work together,
And
but they do get you.
Glass are working together. The thing that I would like to do, this is kind of a community thing. I mean, we have numerous organizations. I just thought about MDHHS, why aren't they involved? I can get a hold of their representative, but it's like, I mean, protective services may want to be considered here for adults. So I think I need to get a community team meeting going. We can do it on Teams so that everybody knows who's in there, what we're doing, what the obstacles are at this point, and a time frame, how we're going to get this done. Because he doesn't have a place to live. We have to have somewhere for him to go. We don't want him on the streets. However, we also don't want to drag this on, you know, to your point. It's been long enough. You know, he has to do something. If that means he has to go in a hotel for a while, we'll do that. Whatever we have to do, we have to bring this to a close. But we've got so many pieces in this pie that, you know, we're over here trying to get this done. You know, we're picking up pieces. I'm finding out information here that we don't know about, you know, all this different stuff. So if we can just have a team meeting, I will set that up and we'll get the chief on it. I'll get the sheriff on it. We'll get CMH on it. I'd like to get Matt Dodson from DHS on it.
And Tasha from Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency, she's been working with Roger too.
Yeah, see, we don't know these things, so I think we're tripping over each other, and if we all talk together and set up, you know, I'm good about setting plans, you know, it's like, okay, you're saying Monday you want it.
Release of information, to share that information with your agency, they can't. Tasha's from Supportive Services for Veteran Families with NMCAA. One you may look into is the Veterans Transitional House up in Gaylord. That's probably the closest Veterans Transitional House. It's a group house.
I'm-
There again, they've got supports.
And I think that, again, that's great information. We don't know that. So a meeting with all the players to know what resources are being looked at, what's out there, what has to be done, because we're all spinning our wheels.
Well, and again, because they don't have a release of information probably signed.
You
to
can't-
Let your organization know that.
There are health and safety issues that supersede anything, and that's where we're at. The other thing with that is that I'm asking for what services are out there, not about what they're planning to do with one person. We don't even know what services are out there. You guys don't know what service, pardon?
Dial 211 and ask what services are available for veterans.
That's great, but I would really like to see a collaborative thing happen within this community. I'm done with, a little piece here, a little piece there. Why do we have to go to 211 for information when we can all sit down
Because that's the
as
clearinghouse
community
where you
resources
pull all those
to discuss this stuff? I don't see why there's resistance to having an actual group of people communicate to get something done.
Yeah, there's no resistance on our end. So I think definitely, Karen, you're on the right track and we can make this work together as a community and
Yeah.
try and get the transition to
he's
go as
affecting
smoothly as
everybody.
possible.
It's like this, and you're right. Everybody's right. You've been yelling about this for,
6 years.
yeah, and this is just, now we're in a crisis. We're in a crisis. We got to get this.
Well, we've been in a crisis for at least 6 years. We've just brought it to
No,
a
I'm in
head.
a big crisis now, because we're.
No,
trying to
it's no
find-
bigger than it would have been 6 years ago. He was the same then as he is now.
And I filed a lot of complaints, but nobody took up the action.
Right, we're getting close, and, he does qualify for some services, but, some of the agencies might just, have to hold his hand to get him to get approved for the services. So I think we're on the right track.
The thing we know is that he's just, from what Jim's experience is and what he's told me, is that he's not very cooperative in a lot of things. So, that we've got to have a plan on how we're going to deal with it. Because I think we can all lay down all kinds of ideas. Getting him to do it. He can be yes, 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 yes. Were you saying that he was hiding? I think you just said that. It's like he could be yes, 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 I'll do it. And then the last day,
Yeah, he doesn't do it.
Well, and I believe he has been more cooperative now than he was in the past, is my understanding. So, yeah.
There's been some young kids taking out bags and stuff.
Yeah, there's been a lot of
Yeah.
people that are already trying to help him. So we do have I think we do have a lot of agencies that are willing to help us make this work.
And they just hauled 4.5 trucks on a U-Haul truck hauled south. I don't know where he went to. So I don't know what they're doing.
And, I don't want to feel cold-hearted, but we have 2 non-performing apartments because we're waiting for a belligerent guy to move,
Yep.
and everybody wants to help him, but nobody has helped him. It didn't just happen yesterday. It happened years ago, and nobody has helped him up to this day.
well, no, there's been efforts, there's been efforts to try to get him.
But it didn't work.
Well, it didn't. And again, he is an individual with rights.
I understand that.
Right, he
but-
has to be willing to accept the help. And it sounds to me like there's a chance he's at a position now where he is willing to receive the help that's needed.
But at what point in time do we finally say enough's enough?
Well, you're saying Monday.
Monday.
You're changing the locks on Monday is what I heard.
Well, we're looking into, yep,
Yeah.
we're looking into that. Right. Let's,
Meet.
yes, we have lots of agencies that we can meet with to try and figure out what options are out there. And if any family members come forward too, that's another option. So we'll get there.
Okay. If there are any other public comments? The announcement is our next regular scheduled commission meeting is Thursday, December 22nd at 9 a.m.
December 21st.
First, pardon me. Why did I have?
Over at the,
Well, and location to be determined.
TBD.
Right. And with that, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Karen.
Motion carried.
Do these finance meetings.
An hour and 35. I think that's the shortest one we've had it yet.
I figured this would be.
Not yet. We want to go on.
I can't even declare.